Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our electric water cooler and hydration overview. The webinar today is going to be about 30 minutes, and that'll include a Q&A at the end of the presentation as well. We will be covering a Haws product overview to help you learn about the right products for your site. And as always, we are also going to be sending out a follow-up email that goes out about 48 hours after the presentation, and that includes a PDF copy of the slides and a Q&A document. So if you do have any questions during this webinar, feel free to post them using that question section on the toolbar. We will answer as many questions as we can during it, but whatever does not get answered will also be included in that Q&A document. So starting off with your host for today, my name is Hayden Delgado. I am a specification manager with Haws, and presenting alongside me is Justin Dunn. Justin, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending today. I'm Justin Dunn. I'm the Senior Field Marketing Specialist with Haws, and I'll be covering a couple sections a little later on in the presentation.
Great, thank you, Justin. So hopping into it, a quick agenda for today's webinar. We're going to start off with our electric water cooler series, then moving on to some of our more recent hygienic improvement options, some sensor operations, bottle fillers, and then finishing up with that Q&A. So getting into the EWCs, electric water cooler series, commonly referred to as EWCs, and you're going to hear that quite a bit throughout this presentation. Our EWCs are a solid combination of lower costs with unmatched design, but also still getting that Haws quality that you look for with all Haws products. And we're going to focus a good chunk on that at the beginning of this webinar. So it is a unique series in the fact that it is newer and nicer than anything that's currently out there on the market like this. You can tell from that image on this screen that it's a little bit of a fresher, more progressive design than that older wedge style design that we currently see out there. And it has several key features that we're going to run through, one of which is the quieter operations. That helps really minimize any distractions, which is great for your office buildings or schools, because our operations are a significant percent quieter than anything else that's out there on the market right now. We do currently have 16 models to choose from. Basically is a combination of a single or a high-low unit, which is shown here on the slides. And then it comes with options for if you would like a bottle filler or if you want it without the bottle filler. You can get an option for with or without filtration, and then with or without the hands-free option for the drinking fountain piece of this as well. So the bottle fillers on these units is always going to be hands-free for us. The option is if you want that drinking fountain that has a push bar on it typically to also be hands-free. You can see that there on the top two pictures on this slide. It just has that sensor above the push bar. Then we also have the standalone bottle filler, which is that unit there on the far right. That's our new one there. It's the 1210, and it also comes with options for filtered and non-filtered. And I'll talk about some of the features and benefits of this one as we get into it as well. The filters on these units have a industry-leading 3,000-gallon filter for not only lead and taste, but also for odor and other harmful contaminants. And these are what I consider smart filters because they have a RFID tag on there. It's actually pretty cool. It allows it to communicate with the electric water cooler itself, and it can recognize the filters as an individual. So this helps us prevent from using the same filter twice after it's completed its life cycle. And it also allows us to have a filter emblem on the screen of the bottle filler that shows what the status is and what the exact percentage is if you want to get into it as well for what's left in that filter's life cycle. There is also no need to turn off the water for replacing any of these filters. It helps the maintenance staff save time. It has an auto water shutoff. So you just gotta give that filter about a quarter of a turn, pull it out, pop a new one in there, and it's done very quickly. The bottle fillers on these units have a fill time of 2 ounces a second. This makes it ideal for all our high traffic areas where you're getting lots of students or anything like that. And it is also perfect for any type of facility that's going to be shutting down for a period of time. So if it's shutting down for weekends, holidays, or again in a school, if it's shutting down for summer break, we have a auto purge feature. So even when this unit isn't getting use, it is still going to purge the system every 24 hours, sending a surge through the system itself, clearing out all the water that is sitting in those lines. That way we're preventing any Legionella or any other type of bacterial growth inside of this product, making it more hygienic, something a little bit more modern, what we need today. It also has an enhanced interface. That's what's shown here on the display. Obviously, starting off at the very top, we have what everybody wants to see nowadays, how they're saving the planet, what those bottles saved are, and it shows them there what the bottle saved on the unit is. Then directly below that, we have our touchless sensor for the bottle filler, and then we have that filtered emblem right there below that blue circle. That filter emblem is where that RFID tag, that filter comes into play. And it shows steady on any filtered option EWC from 100 to 10% in that filter's life cycle. Once that filter drops below 10%, it just pulses slowly. And then once it drops from 1 to 0%, it pulses a little bit quicker, letting us know that we need to change that filter out. But we really got away from those flashing red lights that scare away users and anything along those lines. We just wanted it to have the same emblem, and it just pulses a little bit quicker when the maintenance team needs to go and change these out. There's also a energy efficiency indicator on these displays, and energy efficiency is going to go into effect 1 hour after this unit does not detect any motion or light. So again, this is ideal for anywhere that is going to be shutting down. Say you have in an office building, if everybody goes home for the night and this unit doesn't detect any motion or light for an hour, it's going to go ahead and stop chilling the water, saving the wear and tear on the unit. And then when the first person comes back in the morning, pops on those lights, it's going to turn back on and begin chilling water immediately again. And this really helps give the product a longer life cycle. So if we can put this thing in sleep mode 50 or 60% of the time, it's going to last us that much longer in the long run as well, because we're saving that wear and tear on the unit. And then directly below that energy efficiency, at the very bottom of that LED screen, you see the 2 arrows with the select button. It does say select, it's a little grayed out right there. But this is our enhanced electronics package. And this can't just be accessed by anybody. There's a protected button under the drinking fountain bowl. You press that and these 2 arrows pop up, and it allows you to go through the package that we provide for settings that you can look into or set up yourself. And one of those is the programmable energy savings mode. So just as it will shut itself off if it goes an hour without motion or light, you can also program that feature for Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday at the times that you desire this unit to be chilling water, again, prolonging that life cycle because we can put it into this sleep mode where it's not using that chiller when it's not necessary. It also gives you other abilities in there with those arrows. You can check the filter status by the percent of the filter. You can calibrate the sensitivity of that touchless sensor, and you can also adjust the light brightness, and then you can look at any error codes. So again, saving your team time is what we're trying to do here. And with that error code display, we have a key. You can look at any error codes, use the key, and easily troubleshoot what the issue is and know how to fix it very quickly. Here we have a picture of our chiller. So the industry standard has always been to have a tanked chiller in your electric water coolers. So, of course, we decided to do things a little bit differently. We came out with a tankless chiller in these units, which means we don't have sitting water where bacteria or any debris or Legionella or anything can grow and collect in. And this allows us to get clean water with every use. And because of that, there's really no sitting water in this unit along with that auto purge system. It flushes out all of these lines regularly. We don't have the tank chiller, and there is a 5-year warranty on the refrigerant in these units as well, so we can ensure that it's going to be working properly for you. And now we get into that standalone bottle filler that I talked about. So this is the 1210. It's a touchless, very hygienic option. And the reason for that is that catch basin and that bottle filling platform are actually two different levels that can be separated, easily cleaned. So you're not trying to reach into the cracks in there. You can just easily get in there, clean it all out. And that catch basin is also deeper than what you're typically used to. We've all seen somebody come up to these, pour out a full 32-ounce water bottle into them, and it splashes everywhere, pours out the sides. We wanted to get away from that. We wanted to make something a little bit deeper and that's designed to prevent as much splashing around as we typically see out there. And as I said, this unit does come with filtered options, and it also has all the same features and benefits as the rest of the series that we see out there as well. Here we have a comparison picture. We have the Haws unit on the right-hand side, a competitor's unit on the left-hand side, and this is really one of my favorite slides to use just about every day. The reason for that is it shows the big difference between our products, and you can see the amount of extra space and that simplified design under that Haws EWC compared to the competitor's unit on the left-hand side, which is a little bit more crazy in there. I always like to compare this to a bomb from an older movie where they're trying to decide which wire to cut, which one not to cut, but there's just stuff everywhere and it's a mess. And also because of our more simplified design and that extra space, not only is it easier to install and do maintenance on, but we can also retrofit this unit over a majority of the competition because we have some adjustability with it. We can match up to rough ends and power that were already in place, the plumbing, and we really wanted to focus on saving time. We've done a few studies, we've tested commercial plumbers, and we found that typically we have an installation savings time of about 40 to 60 minutes on these units, and sometimes even more depending on what you're comparing the Haws unit to. It also does have a self-leveling wall bracket. It's one of my favorite features. It means that our bottle filler is going to match up and be flush with the drinking fountain. There's not little gaps there like you've seen around. And it's also going to be lining up with the drain to where it's preventing splashing when that bottle filler is in use. I have actually seen a few times people take rubber mallets and hit bottle fillers into place so that it's flush on the drinking fountain and that it's not splashing around, it's matching up with the drain. So we really made it as simple as possible to where that doesn't need to get done. Everything just clicks into place. And then with that, we are going to hop into our first interactive poll question of the day. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch that. Our first poll question is, what are you most interested in today? And please check all that apply. The options today are bottle fillers, drinking fountains, retrofit capabilities, new installation, and filter types. And it looks like we got a lot of responses coming right off the bat, which we appreciate. This really helps us figure out how and what material we should be presenting in these webinars, especially these shorter webinars where we can change things around a little bit and make sure that we are hitting the audience that we have. So thank you all for the participation today. Give it a few more seconds before I go ahead and close this out and before switching things over to Justin to talk about the next part of our presentation. All right, thank you, everyone.
All right, we got a couple different topics to talk about here. The first of which is going to be hygienic improvements. So we talked about the EWC, a vastly different type of equipment and look to that type of equipment in that category. The following are really clever post-COVID world developments and ways that we can upgrade existing equipment, add to existing equipment, add to your facility in ways that are hygienically beneficial.
Hey, Justin, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think we have the poll question still showing on your side. It hasn't progressed to the next slide. If you can go ahead and exit out of that.
Let's see here. I don't have you're running the poll questions, bud. Let's see here. I can see the next slide on my end. Can you not see the hygienic improvements slide hidden?
I cannot see the slide. We do not have any questions coming in about this, though, so I'm assuming that it's just an error on my end. Sorry about that.
It's okay, but I'm going to continue. So hygienic improvements is where we're going to start. And one of the improvements that we made over the last few years that has been massively popular, surprisingly popular to us. We developed this as an option on our equipment as a contact killing surface, right? When you think about public hydration, about drinking fountains, core drinking fountains, you have to touch them. You have to get your hands on it. You have to push a button, etc. Yeah.
We are getting a lot of responses now that nobody can see the slides.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well,
so we must be dealing with some technical difficulties, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us. Just give us a minute to try to figure out what is going on here. Justin, if you wouldn't mind trying to, perfect. That's exactly what I was going to ask. There we go. All right. So we should all be able to see it now. Okay. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, no problem. So that technology I'm talking about is it's copper. We went with a copper button. We wanted an easy way to make a minimal but high impact difference on the equipment and on the public and public surfaces. So we used copper and we developed copper buttons for our equipment. Copper is a contact killing material. Things like bacteria, yeast, and viruses, other negative health effect type living things on those surfaces that you may touch and then pass on, have a much less viable time and life on the surface of copper as it does on the surface of stainless steel, say. So we developed copper button. We did retrofit kits across all of our equipment, indoor and outdoor equipment. The copper buttons are a great addition. I think they look super cool on there. I think they look great. They're called Safe Touch antimicrobial copper push buttons, and they just about half the life of a yeast or bacteria on the surface, such as COVID, for instance. But they're a nice little upgrade. They give it the unit a nice new look and help with public sanitation and bacteria on the surfaces of these pieces of equipment. Following that, sensor operation. So we went from a safer touch surface, but if you can, why touch it at all? So sensor operation has always been a conversation here. We've had sensors for a good long time, but only recently, of course, in the last couple of years, have they been much more popular, a lot more steam behind them and momentum. These can be added to our core equipment. These can be added to our electric water coolers. They're ADA compliant. On our EWC, you keep a redundant button too, which is excellent for places like airports and schools where, you know, sensors are, it's a wonderful way to operate the equipment. You don't even have to touch it. But if something does happen to the sensor, it does keep a redundant button on the fountain bowl, so that if there's a maintenance ticket, the unit will continue to work until maintenance can get out there and fix whatever the issue is. There's an object blockage notification, both on the sensor for the bottle filler and on the bowl. So if some kid shoves a piece of gum on there, a sticker or tape, whatever it is, the unit will automatically shut down and reset once the blockage is cleared, to keep anybody from tampering with the unit in public. We have instructional signage that includes motion operated signage, touchless hydration signage, and things like that. You have complete hands-free operation, so it doesn't get any more hygienic than that. And with our core line, we've also added a really great looking sensor, lots of options across our high-low fountains, our bottle fillers, and etc., both in a standard option that you can order straight from your distributor, your preferred plumbing distributor, or we can retrofit as well. So this is what the core line looks like. That's what the units look like with the sensor on there. Dead center is one of my absolute favorite units, the 1922, with the sensor and bottle filler and the bottle filler stand and drain there at the bottom. But you can see you have options to add buttons on there. You can have sensors on the bottle filler alone, or just the fountains, whatever it is that you prefer. But we've added this across our entire line of core drinking fountain products, and of course on our electric water cooler as well. Those retrofit kits look just like this. So it comes with a sensor, solenoid, Y strainer, power, and the adjustment as well. This is a very easy kit to install. Comes in a nice, neat little box. We either have if you have a plug for power underneath your unit, you can easily just plug the sensor into your outlet. If you don't, and you have a hard line power connection underneath the unit, then we can tie into that as well. We have both kits available, either 120 volt wired, 120 volt plug-in, or 240 volt wired. Okay, we can retrofit any existing Haws equipment that has our 5874 push button on it. So our typical push button, and we can retrofit those to sensors. Or if you have LK's, Oasis, any other brand, Halsey, and they have the same opening size on the front there, we can retrofit those with sensors as well. It looks great. Nice, clean stainless steel look to it, and it clearly says that it is motion activated on the front. Some of the other options we've got, and some of the most important, are our bottle fillers. You can't throw a rock and not hit a project with a bottle filler on it these days. Everybody wants a bottle filler. Even when I'm traveling, I have my collapsible bottle filler, my bottle with me, and I'm constantly seeking a bottle filler when I'm in airports, hotels, etc., because I like to stay hydrated on the move. One of the new options that we have is a bottle stand retrofit kit. Okay, this is a super important product for and feature, and it features a level, sturdy platform for the placement of a bottle while filling your bottle. And from an accessibility standpoint, this makes one-handed operation of the bottle filler much easier for those who may be utilizing prosthetic limbs, or maybe using the bottle filler from a wheelchair, allowing for a free hand to pull yourself closer to the fountain, to balance yourself, or to operate your wheelchair with your free hand. Aesthetically, it blends in perfectly with the equipment. It looks good on the fountain. It has a look like it was pre-installed at the factory here in Sparks. Okay, they are highly tamper resistant, easy to install, and are completely non-intrusive for those using the fountain. These won't interrupt or disturb your use of the bubbler in any way. They are fully stainless, built with a durable gauge of steel, and won't have any splashing or deflection of water outside of the bowl. As a matter of fact, they help to limit any splashing from an installed bottle filler. And you only need simple, commonly available tools to install these, and it fits most of our most popular models. And I think they look great on there too. So here's a photo of each installed. Those models I mentioned include 63 total fountains from our line that can be updated to include a bottle stand. Not a small number of products, and again, some of our most popular models, meaning lots and lots of opportunities to utilize this type of upgrade on your drinking fountain equipment. And then the 1922, I mentioned this earlier. This was one of my favorite products, favorite new products. You can either have the copper button sensor or stainless steel button on there. I think it looks awesome. It looks really, really good. The fact that it's just a full, nice, clean stainless steel unit means that it will either go in a brand new building or install next to existing equipment seamlessly. There's nothing here that's going to look unusual. It looks nice and clean, and it'll blend in with whatever equipment you already have installed, and is a nice way to add a bottle filler with a drain and a bottle stand for schools, universities, airports, or just your front office if you want to add a nice, clean looking bottle filler. Absolutely love this thing. Plus, if you didn't know, we have a front accessible valve on our equipment, allowing for you to get to the insides of the valve and do any maintenance just from up front without taking the unit apart, which is super cool and definitely convenient for the maintenance guys. We got an outdoor bottle filler and drinking fountain combos. These come in multiple configurations. This is a 3600 series. So if you have your park, the area leading up to your building, or whatever it happens to be, and you want to add an outdoor bottle filler, either freeze protected or non-freeze protected, both options are available. But this unit kind of works like Legos. You can move the arms, you can index the fountains or the bottle fillers in any direction that you want, and it really helps you to squeeze this into whatever project you have. It's fully ADA compliant. You have a forward approach or a side approach, whatever's the preference there. But if you go with the forward approach here, just like you see on the right, you have your full, for California, 32 by 48 inch clear ground space for a wheelchair, plenty of space for a walker or standing person to approach the unit. But ADA accessibility is very easy to accomplish with this unit. Plus, it's got lots of cool accessories that can go along with it. My favorite is the dog bowl. I love running into a dog bowl. It even has a restricted drain. So I don't know if you've ever seen a dog with running water, but the drain is restricted, so it fills up the bowl so they're not like fighting the stream of water. But in summary, across these products, you know, the hydration industry is constantly changing, especially post-pandemic, and we're going to continue to see new trends, new products to support public hydration and hygienic operation. These are a great start, and of course, there's lots more to come from us. And consider your manufactured product options closely. We offer a huge, wide range of products to suit your facility's changing needs, so keep us in mind for your projects. And then Hayden, would you launch poll question number 2, please?
Yeah, so our second and final poll question here as we begin to wrap things up is, would you like to be contacted by Haws to learn how we can help with your project? Simple yes or no here, and then once we go ahead and close this up and responses start to slow down, we will get into a quick Q&A. I think we're just going to do about 3 questions here at the end and then go ahead and end the webinar. So thank you everyone for sticking around with us. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this up now. Thank you.
Okay, and then Hayden, do you want to handle the Q&A?
Yeah, I'll hop into it. So the first one that we got is, can you take a filter from one EWC unit and place it in another EWC unit? Yes, you can. The RFID tag that I talked about actually allows that EWC to recognize each filter as an individual. And what that means is that if you take out an EWC filter from one unit and then put it back in the same unit or a different unit, it is still going to show the same percent of what that filter has left in its life cycle, no matter what unit you put it back into. It always reads that filter. And then the next question we have is, are there separate ADA regulations for the touchless water dispensers? So no, touchless water dispensers still must follow those same ADA regulations as you would for a normal drinking fountain or bottle filler, and there aren't really exceptions to that. We still need to keep in mind our clear floor space, our reach range, everything that has to do with where we're putting this product, whether it's in an alcove or anything like that. And it's really important to always keep those ADA standards in mind whenever you're replacing a unit or installing a new one, or just making updates to it. If you want to add one of our touchless sensors to a product later on, it still does need to follow those ADA standards. And then our third and final question, Justin, if you would like to handle this one, as it deals with those bottle stands you just talked about. It's, what is the installation time on the bottle stands, and does it help decrease the backsplash from water?
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'll start with the second half, because I did mention that it greatly reduces any backsplash from the bottle filler that you're utilizing with it. Since it's hitting the bowl underneath the grating, it actually greatly improves or limits the backsplash from the unit. So that's a great benefit there. And then on the first one, with the installation time, there's 3 different versions. There's one for the swirl bowl, the round bowl, and actually just takes a little bit of silicone and it actually pinches onto the unit. So if you use a wrench or pliers, whatever, you can pinch it onto the sides. You put a small bead of silicone on it. It takes like almost no time at all. It takes like a couple minutes to throw that thing in. It's super easy. The others, maybe 10 minutes to install. It really doesn't take. You got to take the bottom panel off, take the drain apart, slap the unit in, and then undo what you just did. And I'd say like 10 to 15 minutes, a really short amount of time. And then we're all good on the questions. We're going to move on. Since we're out of time, we want to say thank you. On the screen is our website, www.hawsco.com. An excellent resource if you want more information about fountains or the other lines that we have, eye washes, safety showers, and etc. But you can find specs, you can find list price, you can find accessories, tons of information on there. It's a really amazing site, and there's also a live chat function with our customer service that is super useful. On the screen is our information. Again, I'm Justin Dunn, Senior Field Marketing Specialist. There's my email if you want to reach out. And then Hayden Delgado running the webinar for us, our specification manager, and his email as well. Hayden, anything you want to add?
No, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us through that all today.
Thank you, everybody.